Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Barbados bids farewell to the Queen. Renew for Bob Marley and Louise Bennett Coverley to be named national heroes in Jamaica. And later in sports, West Indies spinners dominate day 2 of second test against. I'm Giovanni Dennis and here are the details. We begin this afternoon with news from the region. Barbados has removed Britain's Queen Elizabeth II as head of state. A ceremony was held at the capital Bridgetown to mark the occasion, which coincided with the country's 55th year of independence. Vashan Brown has more.
The Barbados government first signalled its intention to sever ties with the British monarchy at the opening of a new session of Parliament in September last year, and now it's a reality. Barbados is the world's newest republic.
And with firm resolve and in one voice, from this day and forever, declare Barbados a parliamentary republic.
Barbados now joins other countries in the region like Guyana, which became a republic in 1970, less than 4 years after gaining independence from Britain. Trinidad and Tobago followed suit in 1976 and Dominica in 1978. Dame Sandra Mason was inaugurated as the first president of Barbados, having been elected by a 2/3 majority vote in Parliament.
I, Sandra Prunella Mason, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Barbados according to law, so help me God. I, Sandra Prunella Mason, do swear that I will well and truly serve Barbados in the office of President, so help me God.
The Prince of Wales was also in Barbados for the ceremony.
Madam President, as your constitutional status changes, it was important to me that I should join you to reaffirm those things which do not change. For example, that the close and trusted partnership between Barbados and the United Kingdom as vital members of the Commonwealth. Our common determination to defend the values we both cherish and to pursue the goals we share.
In the meantime, as the country became a republic, Barbados hit singer Rihanna was declared a national hero. The announcement was made by the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley.
Ambassador Robin Rihanna Fenty has given service to Barbados which has been exemplified by visionary and pioneering leadership, extraordinary achievement, and the attainment of the highest excellence that has redounded to the honor of Barbados. On behalf of a grateful nation, but an even prouder people, we therefore present to you the designee for National Hero of Barbados, Ambassador Robin Rihanna Fenty. May you continue to shine like a diamond and bring honor to your nation by your words, by your actions, and to do credit wherever you shall go. God bless you, my dear.
Vashan Brown, TVJ News.
And the declaration of Rihanna as a national hero of Barbados has sparked renewed conversations locally. Some argue that it is now time for Jamaica to name a national hero, a new national hero that should be. Codian Barrett has that angle.
Robin Fenty, better known as Rihanna, was named a cultural ambassador of Barbados back in 2017, and at a ceremony on Tuesday, she was officially declared a national hero.
This is still the only place I've ever called home. I love Barbados, I love you guys, and I pray that the youth continue to push Barbados forward. I'm so proud of you. Prime Minister Mia Mottley, thank you so much for honoring me in this way. I have traveled the world and received several awards and recognitions, but nothing compares to being recognized in the soil that you grew in.
This means that Rihanna is now the second living national hero of Barbados and the second woman to carry the title.
I am excited as a Jamaican. Rihanna is a Caribbean child. She's a Caribbean star, but she's an international star. And of course, Rihanna having brought so much attention to Barbados, she has never forgotten Barbados. She has always even kept her own accent. She has never chosen to, represent herself as anything but Barbadian, as a Caribbean child. And I think that she deserves this honor. It is noble and ingenious of Barbados to make her a national hero in her lifetime.
The move by the Barbadian government to name the mega superstar a national hero has sparked an age-old conversation in Jamaica. At least one public commentator believes reggae legend Bob Marley should be a national hero.
Bob Marley's music was instrumental in the African liberation movement, the fight against apartheid. When Zimbabwe got independence, he was invited there to sing at Zimbabwe's independence. His music was even played in the United States of America during the Civil Rights Movement. And as I noted, this album was named the album of the millennium.
In the meantime, Director of the Institute of Caribbean Studies at the University of the West Indies, Dr. Sanya Stanley Nair, is calling for cultural icon Louise Bennett Coverley to be named a national hero.
It is work that needs to be honored in the way that citizens are honored. And I think that Jamaica is way behind the schedule with this kind of update to our national heroes.
Codian Barrett, TVJ News.
And to some coronavirus-related news now, one more person has died from COVID-19. The victim is an 82-year-old woman from Manchester whose death was previously under investigation. The overall death toll now stands at 2,392 people. Jamaica also recorded 27 new COVID-19 cases from 1,039 test samples. The positivity rate is 3.3%. The country's case count is now 91,249. The latest statistics from the ministry show that 806 cases are active. There are 160 people being treated for the virus at hospitals across the island. 28 are moderately ill and 27 are severely ill. In the meantime, 103 more Jamaicans recovered from the virus as of Monday. Total recoveries now stand at 62,642. And it's now time for a break here on the Midday News, but please stay with us. We'll have much more when you return. Welcome back. We're continuing the news. The church community in St. James is lamenting the end of the states of emergency in that parish. At the same time, at least one church leader is calling for the government to engage churches in the crime-fighting plan. Details in this report.
Days after the state of emergency in St. James ended, the government and the opposition are still debating their opposing stances. However, chairman of the St. James Ministers Fraternal, Reverend Peter Burnett, has rubbished that debate, noting that St. James residents are experiencing the terror of criminals.
It's not about either party, it's really about lives and whether or not the people heard gunshots celebrating the fact that policemen and soldiers will not be parading or patrolling rather the streets anymore. That's really the big concern.
It's understood that dozens of congregants from volatile communities are again expressing fear now that the security measure has ended. They believe the SOE served an urgent, immediate purpose.
We felt that the state of emergency kept the lid on the crime and did not allow those involved in criminal activity to move around as quickly. And so just the fact of just damping down on that movement and transfer of equipment and guns and so forth was a good thing.
However, now that the measure has ended, Reverend Burnett is suggesting a plan that includes churches. He wants a public-private partnership that would provide funding for churches to initiate preventative measures in communities.
We need a more direct engagement, I believe, with churches. I believe we need a comprehensive plan with churches. You can put a lot of law enforcement officers who we support and we encourage and we understand the strain they're under. You can put them on the streets, but the churches are in the community, and the work of the churches is very important. The church has always been forefront in transforming the nation. Education, health, so many different areas. Why not crime?
Herman Green, TVJ News.
Going back to some coronavirus-related news now, a warning this afternoon that Jamaica needs to prepare itself for greater challenges with the emergence of the Omicron variant of COVID-19. That warning comes from Professor of Public Health at the University of Technology, Dr. Alverston Bailey. Scientists in South Africa have said the Omicron variant is the most mutative strain of the respiratory illness they have witnessed so far. O'Shane Masters reports.
November 16, the day Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced that there will be no more locking down of the country to prevent the spread of COVID-19. But that position could be challenged with the advent of the Omicron variant of COVID-19. Some countries are now battling a fourth wave of COVID-19, and when the Prime Minister spoke in Parliament earlier this month, he said Jamaica has already started preparations for a new wave. Professor of Public Health at the University of Technology, UTech, Dr. Alverston Bailey, says the greatest concern for him is the capacity of the island's health facilities to deal with the variant. Also of concern, the vaccination rate, which is roughly 17%. Dr. Bailey notes that 30% of the population is elderly, 2/3 hypertensive, and diabetic.
What is one of my big concerns right now is decision hesitancy on the part of the Minister of Health for booster shots, especially to the high risk and the frontline workers. That has to be addressed as a matter of urgency.
The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is now recommending that all vaccinated adults should get a COVID-19 booster shot because of a recent emergence of the Omicron variant. The CDC said Monday that everyone 18 years of age and older should get a booster shot 6 months after the second dose of Pfizer's or Moderna's vaccine, or 2 months after the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And for anyone who is not yet vaccinated, to get vaccinated as soon as possible. Previously, the CDC said people should get a booster if they are 50 and older or 18 and older and living in long-term care. Now, WHO's technical lead for coronavirus response, Maria Van Kerkhove, says it will take 2 to 4 weeks to know the impact of the already established COVID vaccines on the Omicron.
I think we'll get some information on transmissibility and severity in the coming days, maybe a week or two. I do think it will take some time for us to get a better understanding of the impact on vaccines. Our estimate is between 2 and 4 weeks.
As the Christmas season approaches, Dr. Alverston Bailey is calling for the Jamaican government to start testing locally for variants of the virus.
It's to start up the genome sequencing machinery and start doing genome sequencing testing on samples on an ongoing basis to determine the type of variants we have here. And also, we need to modify our approach to testing and start testing again vigorously. We have reduced testing significantly over the past few months. We need to start testing again in order to ensure that we detect whatever strains are here, and especially with respect to Omicron, so that we can be prepared.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
And it's now time for the Business Minute with Cody and Barrett.
In the financial world, the pandemic has put Jamaica in a competitive spot for exporting goods. According to the CEO of Separate Group, Richard Pendohi, there is an opportunity for local manufacturers to export more as other countries seek cheaper alternatives amidst global inflation.
But there are also opportunities, a big opportunity for us to become nearshore manufacturing and supply to North America, to other places around, and a lot of companies are seeing that benefit. We have benefited from that. Our growth in export is well in excess of 30%, and that is that's constrained only by the fact that it's hard to get input material to supply all the needs, but we're seeing huge opportunities.
And in business internationally, Twitter's co-founder Jack Dorsey is stepping down as chief executive of the company. He will be replaced by the current chief technical officer Parag Agrawal. Mr. Dorsey, who co-founded Twitter in 2006, has been serving as chief executive of both Twitter and the payment firm Square. In a statement, he said it's finally time for him to leave and the company is ready to move on. He added that he had deep trust in his replacement. Mr. Agrawal joined Twitter in 2011 and has been the firm's head of technology since 2017. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Cody-Ann Barrett.
Now time for the top regional and international stories with Sandy Williams.
In regional news, the Barbados-based Caribbean Climate Outlook Forum, CARCOF, says the potential for floods and cascading hazards should be moderate to high in the Caribbean during the 3-month period from December to February next year. In its latest release, CARCOF said this is as a result of La Nina conditions. La Nina is a weather pattern that occurs in the Pacific Ocean. In this pattern, strong winds blow warm water at the ocean's surface from South America to Indonesia. As the warm water moves west, cold water from the deep rises to the surface near the coast of South America. CARCOF said that long-term drought is evolving in southern Belize and short-term drought in southeast Belize, Cayman Islands, Cuba, Western Jamaica, and northwest Puerto Rico. Further afield, transport users in London must wear a mask or risk a £200 fine effective Tuesday, in line with the new government regulations. Face coverings are now mandatory on public transport and in shops across the UK as part of a tightening of restrictions to help prevent the spread of the new Omicron variant. In a statement, Transport for London's TfL said all customers travelling on buses as well as tubes and trains must wear a face covering or risk being fined unless they are exempt. TfL added that people who have trouble breathing, children, and anyone who finds masks difficult to manage correctly could be exempt. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Sandy Williams.
And we now head to a quick break. When we come back, Simon Preston will have the Midday Sports.
Welcome back. It's now time for Midday Sports. I'm Simon Preston. There was more rain on day 2 of West Indies' second test against Sri Lanka in Galle, but it was a day of promise as they bowled out the home side for 204. On day 2 of the second test, Sri Lanka got a taste of their own medicine as Jamel Warrican and Veerasammy Permaul in his first test match since 2015 stamped their authority. The home side began the day in 113 for 1, and Warrican got the first scalp of the day, removing Fernando for 18 with a score at 139 for 2. And then it was the Veerasammy Permaul show as he took his first 5-wicket haul in Test cricket in only his 7th match. The 32-year-old ended with figures of 5 for 35. Jamel Warrican took 4 for 50 as all 10 of Sri Lanka's wickets came from the slower bowlers. Jamaican Jermaine Blackwood opened the batting once more with Craig Brathwaite, and the duo got off to a good start as they put on 62 runs for the first wicket. That partnership comprised 5 fours in 27.4 overs. Blackwood was looking good and close to his 16th Test half-century, but he got out leg before for 44 off the bowling of Praveen Jayawikrama. This brought Nkrumah Bonner to the crease, but shortly after the rain came to halt the Windies' progress. The Caribbean side reached 69 for 1, trailing the home side by 135 runs. The Guyanese spinner Permaul reflected on his performance.
Opportunity, I'm very overwhelmed by getting the first test 5-wicket haul. I think over the years been working hard to get back in the team and now it really paid off.
Day 3 action bowls off at 11:15 p.m. Jamaica time. Sri Lanka leads the 2-match test series 1-0. To football we go now, as the Reggae Girls have remained third in the November edition of the CONCACAF Rankings Index. The United States continues to lead the index, followed by Canada, while Mexico, Trinidad and Tobago and Costa Rica round out the top 6. The Reggae Girls were held to a 0-0 draw by Costa Rica in a friendly international in Fort Lauderdale last month. The 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup qualifiers are slated to kick off in February, with the CONCACAF region having 4 automatic spots to the World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. The Jamaicans will face Bermuda, Grenada, the Cayman Islands and the Dominican Republic in the first round of the qualifiers. Further afield now, Reggae Boys forward Andre Gray scored the winner for Queen's Park Rangers as they defeated Ravel Morrison's Derby County 2-1 in the English Championship on Monday. With the game at 1-1, the 30-year-old scored the winner in the 90th minute. This was Gray's 4th goal at the club in his 9th appearance. The win pushes QPR up to 3rd in the table on 35 points. They are 7 points adrift of the top 2. Gray's last appearance for Jamaica was in their 2-0 win over Honduras in the World Cup qualifiers in October. He missed the November international window due to injury. Back locally now, as Zone A leaders William Knibb High could become the 3rd team to secure a quarter-final spot in the Issa da Costa Cup competition when they host neighbours Holland High this afternoon. Kickoff is at 3 o'clock. In another 3 o'clock encounter, defending champions Clarendon College will battle Claude McKay. At 1 o'clock, Cornwall College will entertain Herbert Morrison. In the Manning Cup, St George's College will battle Calabar, San Diego faces Camperdown, and Wolmer's plays Mona High. Those matches kick off at 3 o'clock. And that is it for your Midday Sports Report. I'm Simon Preston. Giovanni, it is over to you.
Thanks so much, Simon. And that's it indeed for the Midday News. I'm Giovanni Dennis. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, have a good afternoon.